What if I told you the most valuable cloud skill isn't just knowing AWS or Azure inside or out or having a ton of certifications that are kind of meaningless at this point? It's really how well you work with AI because cloud and AI are just merging so quickly. And honestly, a ton of the skills that you're learning right now are probably not going to be relevant next year. And no, AI is not going to replace the cloud, but it's going to replace these three key skill sets that were very valuable prior to AI that are now almost useless because you can do them so quickly. So I'm going to share these three skills that I think AI will take over in 2026, and I'm also going to share how you can get ahead. So the first skill is going to be manually building infrastructure. If you work in any kind of large SaaS company or big tech company, you're probably already not doing this. But if you work in like consulting like I do, there are people that do this all the time. It is still completely used in the industry and it should not be. So I used to do this all the time as well when I first started. It's a good way to learn when you don't really know any better. But if I was learning now, I would just get started with Terraform right from the start. This is where you're opening the console. It's click ops. You click through the services, set up everything by hand, and then you need to set up a production environment and you have to go redo all the steps from whatever notes you took or some bash script. Even that, it's not viable. You need some kind of infrastructure as code with state management involved. The problem, of course, is that it's so slow and it's hard to reproduce. So this is where AI changed everything. I don't think AI is going to take over infrastructure as code by any means. Learning Terraform is still extremely valuable, but there are ways to use it. So I think the hard part moving forward with Terraform or other whatever infrastructure as code tooling you're using is no longer going to be writing out the manifests that define your infrastructure. It's going to be all around the structure, the file structure, how you're using variables, your naming structure of the resources, the tagging, your CI/CD pipelines for deploying. That's where you're going to be valuable. You need to know how those things work inside and out and be able to set them up in repeatable ways that can deploy your infrastructure. Now, yeah, if you're just deploying, like I see people on LinkedIn all the time that are trying to get cloud engineering jobs and they're like, look at this thing I built. I deployed a VPC and an EC2 instance and it's just like a main.tf. And it looks exactly like they did. They went into ChatGPT and or whatever their LLM is and said, build me out an EC2 instance with Terraform, and it gives them the whole thing. That is not hard to do, and it's no longer an accomplishment. I'm sorry, if you're getting started and you actually understand it and you go through it that way, that's a good starting point. But sharing that as a project, it's like building a Python hello world. It's not useful whatsoever. But when you share me something that deploys to 3 different environments all by just passing in a different variable file, or you have a whole CI/CD pipeline for deploying this thing and it deploys a Kubernetes cluster and then deploys Kubernetes manifests and Helm charts, all of that, and understanding how to do that. Yes, AI can still do that, but it's a lot harder to do that cleanly if you don't know what you're doing asking the AI. So those are the sorts of things that are really valuable. For example, I built out an EKS cluster for one of our clients. Now, we have one client, we're a managed service provider. I built it in a way that is a pipeline. You drop a single file into whatever repository you want. We have 40 different AWS accounts. Drop in a variable file that has 10 variables and it'll build the entire EKS cluster no matter what AWS account you're in. So pulls in all of the things that we need from their account and then creates all the other stuff that it doesn't. And it has a whole pipeline that can pull from another repository that automatically builds this all in their account. That is valuable because of the plumbing. It's not because I wrote Terraform. And then also being able to identify what needs to be automated with infrastructure as code. I mean, I just built out a CloudFormation script and I don't even know CloudFormation. I just know infrastructure very well and I knew what it had to do. So I just asked ChatGPT to build out the CloudFormation, passing the variables where I need, and it does it for me. That's not hard anymore. That's going to be replaced. If that's all you're doing, you need to figure out the other stuff, how to architect, how to design these pipelines, when and what to build. All of that is what really matters. Okay, skill number 2 is just memorizing cloud concepts. You don't need to do this anymore because how many certifications you have does not matter. I just took the GCP, I'm a GCP professional certified architect. I put 0 weight on that. I've never used GCP before. I'm very good with Azure and AWS and I know what all the services do there, and it's basically just different naming convention. Being able to know what a service does, it's a baseline. It is no longer valuable. It took me 2.5 hours of studying for the GCP test. That's it. And I'm not bragging about this. It's just that I went on, took a bunch of exams, figured out what the service names are, and mapped them to the AWS and Azure basics. So I understand all the fundamentals that are very important of how to set up networking, IAM best practices, how to use Terraform, all of that stuff that matters in the cloud. It matters in every cloud. It's not specific. And then you just have to go learn the names. So you have to learn how to set up asynchronous event-driven pipelines. You need to know when to use a data warehouse versus a SQL database versus cloud storage. Like, all of those things are fundamental and they matter very much. But having a certification for a certain cloud provider does not prove much other than you know those fundamentals. So sure, if you're new to the industry, get one maybe if someone requires it or you're really struggling to prove that. But going and just collecting certifications for every cloud is a waste. And at this point, I could go into OCI if I wanted, ask ChatGPT to build me out exactly what I need because I know the foundational resources, and then it just has to translate it to that language of OCI. Now, sure, there's some nuance there. I wouldn't go build out a production environment with OCI by myself, but I could get very far ahead of someone that has not had that experience. And the whole purpose of that little rant there is you need to understand what services fit where from a fundamental level. Like I mentioned, of the different types of data stores is a big one. You need to know how those things scale. So are you running a single instance that doesn't really matter, or are you building a database that needs to have ACID transactions that's global? Like, that's a big difference. Understanding those trade-offs, but all of the cloud providers do things almost the same way. So once you learn one, you're good on the rest. But what really matters now is being able to ask better questions, validate the AI output because you know what you're looking for. It takes the time to do it. Now that time compresses to zero and you just have to validate what your code is doing or what you're building, and then applying that knowledge into real systems. So knowing, like, you have to understand the fundamentals of what the ask is from a business value perspective to be able to translate it into what you need to build in architecture. And skill number 3, this one really bugs me because I see it a lot in legacy providers that they don't realize what they're wasting. They don't want to pay the upfront cost to do a migration or to build things the proper way, and they just stick with the things that they have. But if you are following runbooks, restarting services, like applying known fixes that are just repetitive tasks, you are asking to be automated away. It's going to happen. This is something I see all the time. Things like Ansible. Ansible is one of my biggest pet peeves. It has its use cases, I will give you that. But the use cases are only in things that already exist, in my opinion. And I'm not going to rant on Ansible. I can do another video if you guys want that. But building out anything you do more than once, you need to assess, is this worth automating? Some people will tell you if you do it twice, you need to automate. I think that's stupid. If it takes you 3 minutes and it would take you 3 hours because of some crazy logic to automate, and you do it once a month, don't automate that. That's a waste of time. You need to think about the value you provide to the company and how much you cost to the company. That would be a bad trade, especially if that thing has a risk of going away in 6 months. Like, don't take that. But if there's something that you're doing that every night you have to go in and shut off your servers because that saves you guys money, you need to automate that. That should not have any dependence on you or any single human being. And something that AI is so good at is processing so much data at once. So things like reading logs, looking at the metrics, and then matching issues to known patterns. You're never going to keep up with the skill of AI as far as just the broad awareness that it's able to have. But you have the context on the business value and the local scope of your project, and that is the most important thing. One of the things is designing systems that scale less. So you've probably seen it. AI is very much a people pleaser. If you go to it and say, how do I make this code better? It's going to tell you how to make the code better, but it won't just change the entire thing. Or like if you went to it and said, hey, I'm sick, I really think I have bronchitis, and here's the things that I have, it's probably going to tell you that you likely do, with the quote of like, go see a doctor, or this isn't medical advice. But if you go to it and just describe the symptoms, then it'll tell you what you actually have. So it's very much, it will take to that bias. So if it sees you using Ansible, it's going to tell you how to make your Ansible better, not that your Ansible should not be used because you're doing it completely the wrong way. Automatic recovery and automated scaling are the 2 biggest things that I think are going to benefit from this, because the development cycle is going to move so much quicker. You've probably seen it in the last 5 years. I remember when I started using ChatGPT, where things started moving quicker, but now it's like code is being pushed out so fast that bugs come out. Being able to test that code, build reliably, ship it securely, all of those things are where the value is at. People in cloud engineering and DevOps roles are going to benefit massively from this, because A lot of these front end and back end jobs, I'm not going to say they'll get replaced. I think everyone says things will get replaced, but the jobs won't be fully, but the code is going to ship so much quicker if you have the same amount of engineers working. And being able to handle that scale is the most important thing right now. Okay, so now that I've ranted for however long that is and probably told you how a lot of your job is going to disappear, here's the things that I think really matter. Many of the skills that you currently have are going to be compressed into AI workflows. I think that's a fact, and you need to accept that. The engineers who are going to win are going to use AI, they're going to let AI do the execution, and they're going to focus on the design, the judgment, the trade-offs, and the automation and the pipelines that ensure the validity of their code. And that's why learning everything is a trap that you should not fall into. If you find yourself just tinkering with the newest thing, it's okay to do that as it helps you to get the foundations. But if you're doing it thinking that you need to learn every new software or tooling, it's not going to work and you're just going to fall behind. There's always going to be another shiny object that you could go learn that might have a marginal benefit, but the newer thing is going to come out more than likely and you'll end up not using it. So yeah, learning things like Kubernetes at the start would have been a good bet, but how many Kubernetes type projects have just failed and are not used that you probably haven't even heard of? Learn one cloud platform, have one strong adjacent skill, and have a deep AI fluency and workflow. I personally use Gemini for Gemini CLI, use Claude Code as well. I love those. I think there's some other good ones like Kiro. I don't know where that'll go. That could be the future workflow, might not. I'm not too sure yet. So I've used it some, I'm familiar, but I really just use Gemini CLI. I love that it has access to my CLI directly, can see all my local files, etc. So try out something like that if you're not already. I personally like Cloud Code or Gemini CLI if you're any kind of cloud DevOps site reliability engineer, because it has access to those local files and local CLI commands, so you can run AWS CLI directly from it. Some examples, I would say AWS and Terraform, AWS and Python, Azure and DevOps like CI/CD. Pick one cloud, one skill. I think Terraform is a given. I really would say learn a coding language and be Python or Go. That's going to leapfrog your career tremendously if you know one of them at least. JavaScript's another good one, but if you haven't learned any of them, then go for Python or Go. So if you're doing these 3 skills still, and that's the core part of your job, you need to start now to get ahead and start using AI. And not only doing that, but learning these skills that are actually going to be valuable to the business, because those 3 are going to be removed in the next year. The future of cloud doesn't exist without AI. Everybody knows that. I'm not some genius for making these things or having these opinions, but I do think these 3 skills are going to be the first to get nixed in the next year. Nixed being getting rid of, not being useful anymore. So figure out how to orchestrate the cloud and ask yourself, what part of my job can I do better with AI? And always be focused on the business value. How are you providing business, or rather, how are you providing revenue or saving money? The cost saving is going to be huge because people are spending money on cloud without even thinking about it. And in my opinion, I would focus on some of these things that I shared here if you're not already familiar with them.